5-tool players do it all on the baseball diamond. And our next inductee definitely brought all 5 tools to Gettysburg. He could hit for power, field, throw, even run a little bit. He helped usher in a new era of bullet baseball. So let's dive deeper into why Andy Sheely earned his spot in the Hall of Athletic Honor tonight.
Gettysburg College baseball in the late 1980s was marked by unprecedented success for the program. A name synonymous with that success was Andy Sheely, who emerged as a team leader on and off the diamond and proved why he deserves to join the elite group of Hall of Athletic Honor members.
What I saw from Andy right away was very obvious to me. My first year as an assistant baseball coach in 1986 was he, number one, he cared very deeply about his team, about his teammates, talked about the program, cared about winning. And he showed right off the bat that he was a guy who could really play. Offensively, he led our team in 1986 in virtually every offensive category. And and then played a great center field. So that was obvious to me from the beginning. He was a strong player and a very strong leader who was very passionate about his team, his program, and winning.
As a 4-year starter, Sheely's breakout campaign was his sophomore year in 1986. That spring, Sheely led the team in batting average, runs, hits, RBI, and slugging, among others, while leading Gettysburg to their first conference title in 24 years. He also garnered his first all-conference first-team honor.
Andy was a very analytical player. Really studied the game, really knew a lot of the ins and outs and things. So I think that was one of his major assets, as well as his physical attributes. I always said he was a 5-tool player, and a 5-tool player in baseball is a guy who offensively hits for average, hits for power, and runs very well. Defensively, as an outfielder. Tracks the ball extremely well and has a good throwing arm, not just arm strength, but also arm accuracy. So those were the things from a physical standpoint that made Andy excel as a player on the field. He was outstanding in virtually every aspect of the game.
During Sheely's junior and senior campaigns, he was again one of the team leaders offensively and helped the Bullets win a second Middle Atlantic Conference title in 1987. In 1988, during Sheely's senior year, he was again named to the All-Conference First Team and earned an American Baseball Coaches Association All-Region Honorable Mention. That season, Sheely finished with a career-high .391 batting average while leading the team in RBI, stolen bases, walks, and slugging. Sheely carried a 21-game hitting streak through the back half of the season, helping the Bullets set a new program record for wins and make the NCAA tournament for the first time in 26 years. Sheely finished his career by setting single-season records for walks and RBI.
Well, I think one of the things that says a lot about Andy, obviously being an outstanding player and the type of guy he was, when Nate Simon in 2014 broke Andy's school RBI record. All right, Andy wrote to Nate a note and reminded Nate and congratulated him on the RBI record, but emphasized to Nate that the RBI record really was a team achievement because you had to have guys getting on base in front of you, and you had to have some tough guys hitting behind you so they couldn't pitch around you. So, and that I think said a lot about Andy. I mean, he was obviously proud of the record. He was, happy for Nate that he broke it, but I think his expression of that it wasn't necessarily, while it is an individual record, how much of a team achievement that record was, and that meant a lot to Andy. He was, number one, obviously he was an outstanding player on the field, but he was also an excellent leader, an exceptional leader, on the field, off the field, in the locker room, on road trips. So his leadership, as well as his athletic ability, made Andy such a great asset to our team and helped us establish our program at that time.
Sheely received his Juris Doctor from Penn State Dickinson Law in 1991 and has worked as an attorney in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania for 33 years. He and his wife, Kathy, have a son, Aiden, and a daughter, Anna.
Andy Shealy deserves to be in the Gettysburg College Hall of Athletic Honor because he was a major contributor as both an outstanding player and leader to three of the most exceptional teams in the history of Gettysburg College baseball.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Andy Shealy.
It's always great to come back to Gettysburg College. The best decision in my life was to come to Gettysburg College. I got a great education here. I had professors who prepared me well for law school and as an attorney and counselor at law. I learned a lot of valuable life lessons as a resident advisor, working with student life for 2 years. I had a lot of fun and a lot of great relationships with the students. Every year I was here. It was a fun and great environment. I will never forget Gettysburg from 1984 till '88. And most importantly, I met my wife here, Kathy Shealy, class of 1989, who we've been married now for 33 years, and we got 2 great kids. I'd like to recognize my son, Aiden, a 2023 graduate of Waynesburg University, and my daughter, Anna, who flew in last night from the University of Pittsburgh, who's a sophomore. Thank you both for coming tonight. I'd like to thank my brother, Steve Shealy, for being here. During my term at Gettysburg, he was in the United States Navy and was serving as an aviator and serving the country at that period of time, and he really didn't get a chance to see much of what happened here. And I'm glad he could see tonight a little bit of snapshots of what myself and our team accomplished during those 4 years. I tried very hard to get my mother to come. My mom is now 94 years old, and I would have loved for her to be here. She just didn't feel comfortable coming, but my mom was one of my biggest supporters during my 4 years at Gettysburg. She came to every game she could. When she didn't go to the away games, she used to read Mr. Kenworthy's little newspaper blurbs, and she'd cut them out and mail them to me, and I used to go to the P.O. box and get them, and I got that extra boost for the upcoming game. So, Mom, thank you. I'm sorry you can't be here. I love you, and you were a great mom and a great parent. My dad passed away about 11 years ago, and he would have really liked to be here tonight, too. When I was a kid, I remember him getting mail from a college that really had a strange name. I didn't like it. As I got more interested in college sports, I kind of found out my dad actually played football at that strange school's name. And while a lot of my cousins went to big schools like Penn State, I kind of decided that my father's choice of a smaller school was where I was going to be. And I decided on Gettysburg College. My dad never said he was disappointed that I didn't apply to his alma mater, but I'd rather choose to be a bullet every day other than the cross between a horse and a jackass mascot used by Muhlenberg College. No offense, Dad. If my dad was here, he would probably resemble Keith Quigley. Keith, are you still here? Keith is there in the middle table. Keith and my father achieved many of the same things. Keith was a graduate of Gettysburg, played in the baseball program, was a catcher here in the early 1960s. Keith was a Marine. Keith became a district attorney, and Keith became a county judge. Same thing as my father. I'm so glad Judge Quigley could be here tonight because he really has been a family friend for many years, and he really reminds me of my dad a lot. And Judge Quigley, thanks for being here tonight. I'd like to thank the Orange and Blue Club for this honor and this award. I'd like to congratulate the Tedra, Heather, Ryan, Garrick, and Carol on your nominations and your great athletic accomplishments at Gettysburg College. At some point during the 1986 year, 3 baseball players, Seth Bendian, Brian Golden, and myself went to then athletic director Bob Holton, and it was after our first MAC championship, and I guess we felt pretty full of ourselves. But we asked Mr. Holton if we could have a meeting. He said, yes, come on in, guys. And we asked him to help the team get better by perhaps getting a trip to Florida, getting a trip, or getting the trip to get this summer, to get more at-bats, to get more games in. One of the detriments of playing at Gettysburg was that it was cold and wet in the spring months. And as a result, we lost a lot of games, and we believed if we got to Florida, we'd have a lot more games, a lot more reps. Our arms wouldn't be falling off because of the cold weather. We also asked Mr. Holton for a pitching machine. We didn't have a pitching machine back then. And we also asked for a hitting tunnel and an outdoor hitting cage. And by the time we graduated, and I don't know how this happened, and I'm sure it was with the help of the Orange and Blue Club, through the help of Coach Campo, we got all those things, and it helped us achieve a lot of wins, another conference championship, and a trip to the NCAA tournament. All of those things were fantastic, and I have to thank the Orange and Blue Club for supporting our team and listening to the players and helping us achieve getting the things we needed to be better baseball players. I need to thank Coach Streeter. Coach Streeter, thank you for encouraging me to come to Gettysburg College. It was for both the academic and for the athletic experience. My freshman year of football was an eye-opener, Coach Streeter, especially meeting Ray Condren and his Tuesday and Wednesday thump sessions as a freshman on the demo defense. Gettysburg football, and as Ryan indicated, to me, always epitomized the physical and the mental toughness of what it meant to be a Gettysburg College athlete. And those same attributes helped me, Coach Streeter, as a baseball player. Coach Streeter, you also deserve a lot of credit for bringing a lot of baseball players to Gettysburg College under the guise or hidden secret of a football player. Seth Bendian, football player. Dennis Maloney, football player. Sean Murphy, great pitcher, football player. Tony Wechter, great football player, absolutely fantastic baseball player. And Chip Rossi. Chip's here tonight. Chip, thanks for coming. It's great to see you. All those things, Coach Streeter, were positive influences for me. The one thing I remember you said in the first week of football camp that year, and you were trying to remind us as young men about the priorities of life. Those being faith, family, your academics and your careers, and then everything else. So thank you, Coach Streeter, for your wise wisdom and for helping me become a better baseball player. Baseball, like other team sports, teaches you a lot about your life. I learned that if you play for the game will reward you. We played 4 years, and at the end of our 4 years, we got rewarded with a trip to the NCAA tournament. I learned if you played for your team, the team will help you achieve your individual goals. Each year I had the goal to have so many statistics, but I never could have accomplished those statistics, the things you heard about tonight, if I didn't have those teammates around me, helping me become the best I could be. And I learned if you play for your teammates are going to love you, and they're going to play for you, and you're going to have fantastic relationships the rest of your life. Those are the 3 things I learned about playing baseball. In 1996, I attended an Athletic Hall of Honor ceremony, and Ed Riggs spoke. Ed Riggs said, "It's not what we did, it's who we were." And so who was I? I was the product of great coaches and great teammates. And I need to take a little bit of time tonight just to say who those gentlemen were. Coach Gene Hummel. Coach Hummel was a man of few words. And when we played and I was in the dugout, I came to believe that if he wasn't saying much, He was either satisfied with your play or he was enjoying a cigarette and enjoying the game. And Oak Shalleck and I had some great conversations about Coach Hummel recently. Oak is here. He graduated in 1987, another big contributor to the baseball program. We both agreed that nothing really fazed Coach Hummel. But it was that quiet confidence that he had as an older man who really helped me just relax in the game. It was his way of letting you know that you were playing the game the way he wanted. As my freshman year of baseball, Coach Kevin Higgins was our assistant baseball coach. Coach Higgins was also my defensive back coach in 1984 with Brian Barr. Brian, thanks. Nice to talk to you tonight. When I came to Gettysburg College, a lot like a lot of other athletes, student athletes, we had a little chip on our shoulder. And Coach Higgins was really good at removing those types of chips. But what it really did is it helped me become a much better team player because I saw the value of how that chip was getting in the way of being the best that I could be and also helping my teammates play for me. Coach Harthreneft was the assistant coach from 1987 and 1988. He came on board when Coach Campo started a really aggressive form of base running. Coach Campo liked to do things, and Coach Harthreneft helped him. Coach H was our first base coach, and when you got on base, he gave him something to do. He really helped me to become more patient as a hitter, and on the base pass, because of his pitching experience, he was able to help you understand and see the pitcher's moves, and that helped me achieve a lot of stolen bases. Of course, I did get caught a lot too. Coach Campo. Coach Campo was our first assistant coach in 1986. When he came here, Coach Campo took the time to meet every player, to measure every player, to figure out your strengths and weaknesses, and started to bond right away with that team. He was a great, as compared to Coach Hummel, Coach Campo really spoke a lot and motivated us that year. Coach Campo let the horses out of the barnyard. He let us run. He put the speed up front and the power in the rear. He loved to advance base runners in any way he could. He explored every aspect of the game as a head coach. He challenged us to be better, and he moved away from the fears of making a mistake, and he took chances, and those chances were rewarded. In 1987, we were 2-9 to start that season, his first year as a head coach. His horses were not pulling together. And Coach Campo brought us all together, reminded us that we needed to play every day hard, and if we did play every day and didn't put the end result way in first, and we did what we had to do today, we would get a conference championship, and he was absolutely right. We changed the record from 2-9 that year and ended up winning our conference and getting into the MAC championship and won a second championship in '87. And I was really pleased to be able to do that with Coach Hummel and Coach Campo. Coach, you were more than a baseball coach. You've been a mentor to me all these years, and you've been a friend, and I'm a lot better for knowing you because of these things. If I have any regrets about the baseball program, it was really the inability to say thank you to my teammates after each season. We had 4 winning seasons, we had a lot of fun, and now I have a little bit of a chance just to say thank you. You know, I'm 58 years old. I'm not getting any younger, but I still think I can go out there and play the game. Of course I can't, but and Coach Campo talked about being an outfielder. And being an outfielder was a lot of fun at Gettysburg, and the reason why was it was very easy. It was easy because we had such great pitchers here. Great pitchers like Brian Golden. We used to play 7-inning games. Brian would strike out, 12, 13 guys a game. In the outfield, we didn't have a lot of action. Jimmy Anderson, another clutch pitcher. You know, you guys got so many outs that Tony Wechter and I used to talk about, you know, everything but baseball while we were standing out there when you guys pitched. Sean Murphy, another great pitcher. Tony Wechter, all-purpose Tony, perhaps the most valuable player during those 4 years that I was here. Mark Fabieri, striking out so many guys in every game, made it so much easier. Kevin Silva, he's here tonight. Kevin was graduating in '86. Kevin was an expert at getting pop-up outs. You know, as an outfielder, you don't want line drives. You really don't want to have that sharp hit baseball. Silva got the pop-ups. They were like balloons floating in the air. You just had to walk underneath them and catch them. Kevin, you're awesome. Thanks for being a good pitcher. And also Kenny Killian was the same type of guy, and Ken got those same kinds of outs. I got to say thank you to Jose Llanes. Jose was a senior my freshman year. He led the team in RBIs. He was captain clutch when we needed him. He taught me how to perform in clutch situations. Thank you, Jose. Those 1986 seniors, the first MAC championship team, Dennis Maloney, Kevin Silva, Jamie Eastland, Ronnie the Zoot Zooter, Frank Delaney, you came through some tough times. You came through some challenges in the baseball program, but you showed me commitment to the team. You were players that stuck it out. And as a young player in that 1986 Cinderella season, you know, your unselfishness really helped us achieve that conference championship. Another individual, Seth Bendian. Seth had the fastest hands, the quickest feet, and a quick bat for 3 seasons. He set the bar for each of my years at Gettysburg. Something to try to compete with, something to try to beat. And we did. We competed in every way, but we loved each other on the field. Seth taught me how to play all aspects of the game. Seth was a great hitter, base stealer, a run scorer, and he was a great second baseman. Seth, like Jose, showed me what it was expected to be as a Gettysburg baseball player. You know, the entire group of the 1987 class, some of those guys are here tonight. And I think it was Jimmy Anderson that coined the phrase Zorbo. Called me Zorbo. I used to wear the rec specs in the games. They used to get all fogged up and sometimes you couldn't see and people would say, hey, can you see the ball? Jimmy Anderson, Sean Murphy, Oak Shallak. Oak, I'm so glad you came tonight. It's been 37 years since I saw Oak. And Oak, you still look the same. You make me laugh. I could give you a big hug. Doug Fearon, Fearless Fearon, here tonight. Doug, thank you for coming back. You know, you guys in '87 were really the guys that turned that 2-9 season around. I mean, you had heart, and you were the gutsiest group of players that I ever played with in any sport. And I got to say thanks. And if I forget somebody like Tommy Mountford, Tommy, I meant to say your name too in that group. Tom, you were also part of it, and I appreciated it. Your die-hard mindset was what helped us do that year. Nobody quit. Chip Rossi, Gettysburg's the other Italian stallion, who as a sophomore made his debut as a conference superstar, a team player, and demonstrating to all of us that hitting over 400, maybe over 450, was entirely possible each year. Chip, I thank you, and I believe we made a very formidable 3-4 combination in 3 or 4 years of back-to-back hitting. They had to pitch to you, or they had to pitch to me. And I wouldn't have wanted to be a pitcher. Finally, I'd like to thank my 4 senior classmates, those guys from 1988. Tony Wechter, said his name a couple times tonight, Greg Button, and Brian Golden. As Coach Campo pointed out, 44 RBIs in a season, it's nothing that I accomplished. I accomplished it, but it was because Tony Wechter got on first base. Tony Wechter stole second. It was because Greg Button either bunted him or advanced Tony to second or third that gave us the opportunity for a single or a hit to get those RBIs. I don't get statistics unless Chip Rossi's hitting behind me. They wanted to pitch to me because they didn't want to pitch to Chip. And I saw good pitches to hit, and I took advantage of it. Tony, Greg, Chip, so many others on the 88 team, you were part of that offensive machine that produced so many wins, individual and team records, and some of those really remain difficult to match at this day. I got to tell you that the heart and soul of Gettysburg's baseball team in those 4 years, and that heart and soul which carried over to me, was created by a very special person, my motivator, the man who dared us to be great, the king of confidence, and the man who expanded the definition of greatness. That man is Brian Golden. Brian, the Wonder, coined by Coach Higgins, was my roommate for 2 years and a friend for life. Brian was the Pied Piper of the student body. He brought out those K signs for all the strikeouts he had. Brian brought the New York never say die attitude to Gettysburg baseball. Brian, you made the game fun and exciting and so much easier for me to play. Brian, your motivation, your positive attitude, and your passion of the game remains in my heart and in my mind forever. And there's no way there's no way the team could have accomplished so much without you being a team leader, a believer in the game itself, and as we dreamed about as freshmen and sophomore, that long sought after goal of making an NCAA tournament. Again, I want to thank the Orange and Blue Club for this great evening. You all are fantastic people. It's so great to talk to each of you. And I wish you all the best. Thank you.